take a seat real fast. Server owners and coders, content creators and streamers, showing off the community with all their features. Issues with updates, someone's mistake, new things they added, angry players it makes. Get in chat, voice your opinion, you're the community and we wanna listen. It's the Peasent Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the DayZ community. The greedy peasant, he runs the show, but without his team this wouldn't be so. The queen peasant, who runs the chat with the friendly hello, make sure you say it back. Survival role play, choose a character, hold the dev accountable on every single matter. Social media and TikTok, she likes to toast. Smiley's a people person, new friends on the coast. It's the Peasent Podcast, we're having a blast with the DayZ community, so take a seat real fast. It's the Peasent Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the DayZ community. The greedy peasant, he runs the show, but without his team this wouldn't be so. The queen peasant, who runs the chat with a friendly hello, make sure you say it back. It's the Peasant Podcast, we're having a blast with the DayZ community, so take a seat real fast. It's the Peasant Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the DayZ community.
But welcome everybody, Mr. Brandon. It is a catchy song. You will get jammed in your head. We bribed AI to make sure it was the most alluring song out there to draw you in, so you never forget about the podcast ever. But welcome everybody. Savage in the house. We've got the gnome. Got Mr. Brandon. Hope you guys are having an absolutely lovely weekend. We are here for the Peasants Podcast. Today's little subjects are going to be update 1.28 and, of course, the little hint at the new map. I've got my absolutely legendary co-host with me, Mr. Q. Welcome, Mr. Q. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Morning. This side of the world, it's Mother's Day today, so happy Mother's Day to everybody.
100%. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Kicking it back. Hope you got breakfast in bed. Hope your kids treat you well. If not, if your kids have moved out, don't expect your partner to do it. Love you, Queen. But no, it's been a bit facts. It's been an interesting week in the old DayZ community. First of all, we're going to dive into some of the things that have been happening around the works in the community. We have a TPP news and events that we have in the Discord. So if you're a server owner and you've got an updated server or news, definitely drop that in there because we'll publish it every week. But here's this week's little news rundown. The zone kicking in with Northwestern Airfields spawns all month. Watch yourself. Mr. Q went in there and said there was 8 million infected.
Oh my God, it is insane.
It's one of those servers where you're given everything but still isn't enough. They've got a treasure hunt weekend. Supply stashes have been hidden throughout Northwestern Airfield. Expect company, large numbers affected in the area. So yeah, pretty hectic. You can go in there, get all the gear you need, but be careful. It's a very good picture. I do love AI destroying the art community. And of course, the assassin hood is hidden somewhere in the airfield. Become the assassin. Find the red hood, post a selfie and a location in chat, and knuckle down and let the players come to you. Absolutely wicked. He throws on some absolutely top stuff over there at the zone. So definitely get out there and check it out. Apart from that, we're going to dive right into the episode. Got quite a lot to cover. We're going to start off with update 1.28 and all the little things that they've added into 1.28 that even I didn't know some of the stuff that's involved. So of course you've got the scopes. Got the PSO 6 scope, the 2X sport scope, which is for the sniper rifles. Very interesting, the one that everyone's craving, the marksman 10X variable scope. It actually has got a little variety in it. It's got 3 colours it's going to come out in. So you're going to get a darker version, a lighter version, and a sandy version. Does this mean that we will get
sandy?
Yeah. Do we get a do we get skin versions of our guns in later dates, like we did the VSD and the revamp with the wooden? Does this mean now that we will get variants in gun colours all over the joint?
Or are they going to bring back the spray paint?
Fuck yeah, that'd be sick. Just to add a new level of craft into the to the game itself. Maybe a few more varieties of colours than the black and the green. I'm sure all the ladies out there would love a pink N4. I think that would be absolutely off its head. Absolutely off its head.
You imagine the full pink loadout. M4, flower, Derringer.
That's it. That's it. Pink denim skirt, pink blouse. Hell yeah, we're rocking it. Just unload it with your pink Derringer. Forget about the M4.
Yeah.
But it is good that they're branching out in the colours and trying to get that variety factor happening.
Well, it's more cosmetics, and that's something that I always used to say earlier on, that we were missing more cosmetics. Yeah, more things to make you stand out in the game.
Yeah. Be a bit more individual rather than even though there is a large variety of sets, everybody seems to rock the same guns, and the ability to spray paint your armor and stuff like that would be absolutely wicked. But
Oh my god, pink platies.
Pink plate, big pink plate and a big pink helmet, all fluoroed up, pink boots, be rocking it.
90s are back. The 90s are back.
That's it. Give me my tear offs, I'll be fine. Lenses. So anything with a scope is actually going to be affected by the damage in the glass now. It's very interesting to see that, things like the rangefinder, the NVG, the binoculars, all those particular devices will be basically, once it gets damaged or once it gets destroyed, will get wrecked. To the point where the NVGs, while ruined, can still be used, but you can't see much. Looks like someone took a hammer to the lens. So that's going to be an interesting fact. It just means like the hunting scope now you'll need to repair, because that comes in, doesn't matter what rate it comes in clear. But I do like the crack lenses and things like that added to the game, especially with the NVGs. NVGs are pretty much solid. You can always headshot someone and get the NVGs off them. So a bit of damage and a bit of risk to the headshot now, damaging those quality nighttime appliances. But the rangefinder. So a little bit of facts about the rangefinder. So a ruined rangefinder won't measure the distance anymore, but you can look through it. The 3 sets of measurements. The first set is obviously the distance between point to point, which is where you are to the point thing you're pointing at. The second read is the distance on the horizontal plane. So it will tell you how wide you can see. And then the third rating is the distance from the horizon. So you can see how level your shot is. Will I be able to understand any of that? No, I'll just line it up and shoot like usual. But I'm sure people that use it tactically.
Yeah, I have no idea. To be fair, that's just going to be too confusing. Just give me the distance so I can range my weapon, and that's about it.
Yep, but it'll take into account for bullet drop. It'll take into account for those sorts of things. So if you know your weapons quite well and know how they operate and how they bullet drop, then you can add in those factors. It's very interesting that they added that sort of level of reading.
So they brought more tech into it.
Yeah, a bit more
tech. Which is bizarre because we shouldn't be getting any more modern.
Well, it's more of the fact of, would the average survivor know what they're looking at?
Yeah, well, that's it. Because, tell you what, I don't. No. I do, though. That, to be fair, if an army, someone military trained, picked it up, they'll know how to use it.
Yeah.
Civilian like me, I'll pick it up. No fucking idea, but it's telling me how far away you are. That's all I need.
That's all. That's correct. Maybe not for those majorly long shots, but yeah, for a good 300-400 meter shot, getting that calculation down right and putting a bullet into him, 100%. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting little, set of things that required. So it's telling you how the horizontal is, and of course how vertical you are for shooting down, or obviously shooting up. Whether you need to add a little bit or take a little bit off, depending on your height. For me, it's a first shot, and then if it missed, I'll adjust off that. Maybe you don't need to. Maybe we'll learn the ways, Q, of those numbers. Right, so they did a full overhaul of the guns and the tuck of the guns. So when you walk up to the wall, you'll tuck out. The only gun that doesn't do it currently is the Tundra. Yeah, whether it's just an oversight in the experimental at the moment or it's a permanent thing, but the Tundra won't tuck. It will not
What about the Savannah?
No, Savannah does it too. Savannah tucks.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so it's probably an oversight where they haven't put it into the Tundra after they've put it in all the other guns. So might just be just the way it is. I'm sure they'll change that. But the good thing about that tuck is the window pillar is no longer an issue with medium size and below weapons. So when you're sticking your nozzle out the window and that pillar gets in the way and flicks it up as you're trying to line up a shot, with the medium-sized guns that will no longer happen. So medium and down. So obviously your long sniper rifles and things like that, the window pillar will still affect. But currently medium guns.
It's good to see that they've done that because they tried to fix that a few updates ago and it made a negligible difference. Like, sure, you could raise it a little bit, but it still just kept doing it on the window.
Yeah.
At least now they've actually fixed it so I can actually shoot out of a window properly.
Which is what's required, because there's nothing worse when you got that lined up shot and you're trying and there's a bar in the way and the thing keeps flicking up and down and yeah. it is definitely something that was required. Also, there has been sound changes to non-automatic weapons. So, your blazers have been changed. All your high-end snipers and stuff like that, they've all had a sound change. I do like the new sound changes that they're going on. It makes the guns a lot more, I suppose, beefier in a battle. And I think they need a bit more freshening up anyway.
Yeah, and it's going to make things a lot better for longer term players as well, because you're not going to be able to sit a few hundred meters away and be like, oh shit, there's a tundra, until you start getting used to the sound variants again.
Correct. That is exactly a spot on point that, the variance is now not going to be, that's a tundra from 282 meters away because I know the exact sound and how long it takes for it to recule across. So even with, I've noticed heli crashes have a variance in their sound now. They sound a lot closer, but they're actually a lot more distance away. So the sounds have been tinkered with over the last, 3 or 4 updates, and I think they've done quite a good job with just relaying a better sound quality.
Definitely.
Of course, they've got the new dynamic events. Helis come to Scow, military boats and fishing boats. But they also found supply crates in Sakau in the files, which is very, very interesting because, where would they probably be? Probably, I'm assuming, down on the airfield where those planes are sitting solo. But yeah, supply crates coming to Sakau, deep into the files somewhere. And of course, the tyre fires that we saw on the latest Witch event. So,
I mean, the supply crates are a good thing because I feel the airfields are quite stagnant and not visited and treated enough. I feel a lot of people just bypass the airfield and head straight for the island,
yeah. And they even bypass it and take the ice gap, the ice road across, rather than now having to be pushed past the airfield in that town and then take the land bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, with a good stack of supplies like Northwestern Airfield, it'll bring them a little bit more life, like the crates did for Northwestern Airfield. The new gun, 100% confirmed. Little handgun, can't single shot it, only needs a clip. It's not too bad. It's a good addition to the little add-ins they've got. But there's another gun deep in the files. Got all the animations, got all the things required for it. The R12 shotgun, a 7-round automatic shotgun, no pump required. It is a beast. It looks like a Spaz 12. It loads directly into the chamber and then 6 underneath. But you can, if you've got one in the chamber, it loads twice as quick because you're basically just feeding it from underneath. So you can just pump 5 or 6 off, reload quickly, and there's no cock, there's no nothing, there's no chambering of one to keep going. So that shotgun itself will change the shotgun meta in DayZ. Because it is a
I think it's
fucking beast.
It's going to be good because it's going to stop people from carrying that pump and the old lazy Susan double barrel all the way up to Tizzy. Now you're going to be looking for that R12. You're going to be looking for that beastie shotgun.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, the Vega's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's garbage. It's got too much kick on it, and yeah, this thing has not as much kick on it, but it even looks nice too. So definitely will be on my back when it comes to that particular run happening. But yeah,
Shredder.
but not confirmed. Not confirmed. In the files, deep in the files, not been mentioned. It's there. You could probably pull it out when it comes to the update being dropped. But yeah, no mention of it in the dev notes or anything like that. Maybe they're going to bring it out on the next patches, the hot fixes for experimental. So definitely kick back and check that out. Which is good because that's going to be 2 guns and two guns that maybe we're not requiring, but they're going to add to the bottom and the mid tier of the gunfights and the loot economy. So I think sometimes they go always for the high tiers.
I would argue though that the R12 would be high tier. And if you can pump out 7 rounds and control the recoil quite well, I would say that's a competitor next to an M4. Definitely. At least if someone's got an M4, you've got an R12, you've got more of a chance than if you've got a pump.
100%, especially if it's going in. I just don't think it's got the frequency rate that the Viger does. You know what it's like when you've got a 20 rounder or you just hit that auto. You might find that they never said it had an auto setting. It was just auto reloading, click, 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 click. So it might be semi-automatic where you have to pump the trigger. But if it's just hold down and let rip, it'll wipe the Viger off the table.
I think it'll wipe the Viger anyway. I've never used the Viger in auto. That's just, there's no point. The recoil is just insane to control.
Yeah, the kick's just...
I just like that being able to just, it's just nice having that 10 in the mag and just being able to go bang, bang, bang,
yeah,
bang.
or a 20 round drummy and you but yeah, so R12 shotgun definitely going to be a good additive to it.
Even better than the rack. I don't really like the rack.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's just
it depends where they put it. I mean,
I'm picking. It's going to be where it is now. We're going to find it all over the coast.
Yeah, but it means will they shift the Scorpion?
I think so. Scorpion will move to tier 2.
Yeah. So you'll find it like cami, you'll find the racket cami, you'll find it a barrow. Maybe that means now the pump action will move a little higher too, so you're not finding that at Berenzino.
Which is good, I believe. I don't think that you should be finding weapons quite as powerful as the pump there.
No, that's right. I understand the whole trying to defend yourself against a gear guy, but you can do the same with a double barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Or even the BK12, you can even have a crack at him at. Takes a good shotgun, decent hit, 100%. We will be seeing vehicles go a lot quieter with the next update. They're adding in the ability to put all the doors and stuff on the cars, and it will actually make it quieter inside the car. So if you're still driving around with no doors on, a frame of a vehicle, you still will be loud, or in third person. But doors on, doors closed, it is much quieter inside a car, which I think is a major thing that's required. Nothing worse than trying to talk to people and get directions while the engine's revving its head off.
Well, that's right. It's detrimental to the fact most of the time you end up turning down your game volume so you can hear the people next to you and not be able to hear what's around.
That's right, jumping out in a rush and you can't just rush off to get your volume back in track. So that's definitely going to be a major help for those particular things. 4 leaf crowns for all the seasons. So if you know the Caesar style leaf crowns that they have, in the movies or in the games. 4 of them are coming to DayZ in each season, the summer, winter, spring, and autumn style leaves. No idea what for. No idea. So maybe an event, maybe a release of something. Maybe it's a release for the add-in of, new map. But funny enough, summer. We know that Livonia and Chernarus are being put in spring and autumn. We know Sakau's winter. But is this now a better confirm that there's definitely going to be a summer map?
I would think so.
Yeah, it's a weird looking thing.
I haven't actually seen it yet, so I'm not too sure. I don't see the reasoning and what they'll be adding it for, though. Where does it fit in the lore or the game to have like a reef crown?
Yeah, I was a little confused on that. Turn this down. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. Yeah, I thought it was a real weird thing. There it is. They are there. Like a leaf crown.
Oh.
I think the one with the snowberries will suit you best. But yeah.
Thanks.
Don't know what it's to add into, don't know what it goes along with, but a good indication that there is 4 seasons. Which wasn't too bad of a little ploy. Where were we? The geyser eruptions, which will come out next update, they can one-shot you. Don't stand in the geysers.
One shot.
They can one-shot you.
Oh.
So no standing and bathing in the hot springs, as a geyser may instantly kill you. So it takes a while for them to eruption. The eruption times aren't squirting out there left, right, and center. But yeah, one-shotted by the geyser. Crazy.
Now the geysers. Is there anywhere in the files or any way that, like how we have normal static objects like trees and rocks and stuff like that, and we can move them and put them anywhere we want?
Yep.
Can we do that with geysers?
Well, you could, but they're an effect. So they're like the flames or lights or stuff like that.
So could we turn them into things like, make like them an anomaly? Similar to, yeah. So you could just be walking along and then all of a sudden, boom, you've been killed by a geyser that just popped up out of the river somewhere.
Out of the bottom of the
Or
ground.
out in the middle of the street.
Yep. I wonder if you could do it like the mummies and target it on players. So all of a sudden you're just walking along and there could be an eruption right behind you. So if you stand still, you just get instantly cooked. Mr. Rakan in the house, hello, good sir. Oh, Mr. Q disappeared. He'll be back. Wonder if he pressed his button again. He did that last night. Welcome everybody to the podcast. We are doing just a rundown of update 1.28 and of course the hinted map. All the information that I've been able to gather to find out what's happening in the next update and of course what's happening in on the hinted map. So I don't know where Mr. Q went. I'm so narrow. Nobody loves me. I'm all on my own. But yeah, so be careful of those geysers. I'm assuming maybe you could probably... Unreachable. Weird. Oh, don't tell me the whole system come down. Damn. Restart. But of course, yeah, so be careful of those geysers. Obviously, there he is.
That was weird.
That was strange. And cut. The Alien Cave. The Alien Cave's going to be the only one with the new sounds, the new ambient sounds into it. So there's a lot of what we do know about DayZ. They like to concentrate on some areas a little bits at a time. So something's going to be happening with that Alien Cave in Sakau. Something's really going to be happening.
I have a theory.
Far away.
Right.
I love conspiracies.
DayZ loves Easter eggs. Absolutely loves them to pieces. All right. Now, inside that alien cave is a bunch of wires.
Yep.
Could that have them been telling us all along? Because we know those wires come from other armor maps.
Yep.
Could they have been telling us all along that there's other maps coming? Here's a little teaser for them if you could join the dots.
100%. And of course, you know, the little bit of alien works with the armory forger, you know, letters that are on the mountains and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes they wave things in our face and we don't see it.
No, we don't, because we're too busy looking at all the cool other things.
Yeah. Like these leaf crowns, whatever they have involved with, is that the major part of saying, hey, another map's coming out. And we're just like, oh,
Yeah.
fucking crappy leaf hats. That's great. I want the ones with the berries so I can have something to eat. But yeah, so it's all well and good in the hood, as long as they keep on, you know, keep doing what they're doing. They're just slowly moving some stuff out. The teeth chatter has been changed as well, so no longer will you get that. It's just a little chatter now. It's not as loud, which is good. I think it was a bit loud on the, although you knew you were cold. It definitely was an indicator, like, you know, the grumbling belly or the... As soon as you heard those sounds, you look straight at your vitals. So I don't mind those little key indicators. And it didn't really worry me, but some people, maybe you can hear people's teeth chattering. And it was a bit too loud. Infected steps.
I don't mind that sort of thing.
I don't either. I think
it's good because it's making it playable without your HUD.
Correct. I would like to play more, be able to play it to the point where I knew what the grunts and groans were of my sicknesses and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think no HUD would really set it up for a, you know, to the point where it was, you know, you were turning on your HUD because you were new to the game. Everybody got into that flow of no HUD. It just makes a whole different experience too. Infected steps have been changed, so infected steps will be a little bit quieter. You won't be able to hear them from 300 miles away. But you will be able to hear them a little bit louder when they're closer, which is good. I don't mind that. I don't mind. I found that experimental with the infected and their footsteps brings you a bit more awareness. You're not just like, yep, that's an infected. You're like, is that an infected? Is that a player? Which obviously adds to that game. And for all those people that want to be swimming out to islands with a barrel, you can no longer swim with heavy items. So if you're standing with a barrel on one of the ice sheets and decide to jump in, you will land in the water and the barrel will let go out of your hands and disappear forever. So it'll just sink to the bottom of the ocean. So things like logs, things like sheets of metal, barrels, those things you can no longer swim with, which I think is a good thing. I just wish they'd add the ability for boats to take building supplies, if that's the case. The storage compartment for boats would be absolutely fantastic. Chuck a couple of logs on there, a couple of sheets of metal, maybe even a bigger boat. They've got a couple of the boats coming out, militaries and stuff for events. Why not make a bigger boat for, like, the truck? Then get, 12 people on there and have parties. Come on, my party bus. You'll love it. But yeah, that's a rundown of 1.28. I'm looking forward to what's coming out and what's available. So, super keen for that. Super keen. Yeah, or a houseboat. Houseboat would be sick too, G. Be able to put your base in there and just cruise around. Imagine how many people would be sitting on the outsides of like Chinaris or stuff like that, just chilling. I think I've lost Mr. Q's mic too. Yeah, it needs some bags for the boats, something to be able to... Look, even a bag would be fine.
Jesus.
Fuck, that was quick.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
He was sitting there for a while
Weird.
and disappeared and relog back in straight away. It's like you hardly moved, you just went quiet. But yeah, so can't swim with heavy items. We need some storage in our boating systems. Large boats, a houseboat, water world, hell yeah. A flooded map with only little tiny islands on it would be sick, especially if you had that truck style storage and houseboats. That'd be next level for the old DayZ. A lot of people getting sniped off their boat. But yeah, that's the rundown from 1.28. Looks absolutely jam-packed. We know there's only a couple of updates kicking in, 1.29 and then 1.30. So they're going to be jamming a lot of stuff in these updates. And funny enough, only just recently is it been 1 year since, DayZ got their full team in effect. The new guys in, Lad and that. And I think after 12 months, you can definitely see the improvement in the dev team themselves, the improvement in the quality of updates coming out, and the stuff that's actually coming out with it. So, big shout out to the old BI for chucking out their checkbook and flicking out a few more checks every week to get these guys employed and get them in there. I think they've done an absolutely fantastic job.
Yeah, amazing. Again, good on you, devs.
100%. 100%.
Look, every week you're making me compliment yous.
That's it. Don't worry, you'll get back into them. I'm sure you've got some stuff. You've got to even it up on the podcast, so can't have it all skew-iffed. But the new map.
There was one thing.
Yeah, fire away.
That we missed from the things that are coming in at 1.28. I don't know how many people are going to feel about it, but the change in shape, your viewpoint from wearing NVGs have gone from that little almost figure eight silhouette to just this one circle now.
Ooh. I didn't see that. So like the center circle. Like a scope.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to affect a lot of people and whether they're going to like that change or not.
Oh, that's pretty hectic. I didn't know about that one. Did definitely not know about that one. Oh, so that's good. I like that. I think the NVGs are a little too overpowered. Um,
Yeah, I think so.
and with them, into that circular scope style, I think that definitely fixes them back up. But yes, that's 1.28. Let's dive into what we know about the new map. So, if you didn't see just recently, I think I've got it somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Let's see are you a hero? All right, here it is. Here. So this was released with classified. I suppose the old TikTok doesn't do it justice either. There's a few things missing out of that little run. So new map hinted at whether they'll what the detail is all speculation. And of course, we will also speculate. Um, let's go through what we know. So, what you heard there, the start of it, the music. The music is actually from the Arrowhead DLC from Armory Forger map Tascan. It's a desert map that was introduced about 15 years ago. Couple of things that this map introduced into the game of Armory Forger. One was helicopters. This is where they opened up the door and put helicopters directly on the actual on the Armory Forger game.
Armor 3, brother. Armor 3.
Yes. Sorry, Armor 3. Sorry, I'm a console person.
Yeah.
Ross says, hopefully Scour will be completed by 1.30 in the new map. Well, this is what we're hoping for. AI was also reworked in this particular DLC for armor, which is great news when it comes to not only infected, but does that mean maybe we get military AI? So you can actually have, someone who'll shoot back at you like they do on armor. Who knows? But just something to add in. Funny enough, there is a major connection between the dev team and the new map. The sandstorm that was coded in the Tascan map was made by none other than Sumrak 15 years ago. Dancing around in the sand map, playing around with the sandstorm. So he's actually the one who's coded the sandstorm, which I thought was fucking hectic. That is a major, major connection between bringing that particular map across to the DayZ world. They've added in a new oil well asset as well as new vegetation assets, which is, a big plus for, not only the people in looking forward to a new map, but the entire community. This gives a variety for everybody. The particular shot that you saw is apparently up in the north of the Tascan map. So, absolutely hectic. There's 3 oil fields on the map. So that's why they sort of brought that down. There are considerations for what map it will be. So there's Zagabar, which is a small map in an urban desert environment. There's Sarani, which is like a tropical map, only has a small desert biome. But the one they think it's going to be is obviously the Tuscan desert map. It has 3 oil fields. It is the size of Livonia. It's 164 square kilometers. 4 towns, 24 villages, and an airfield. So that map is like completely etched out, ready to go. You know, with the capability of being able to take, port straight across. Now we know DayZ, but they don't particularly port directly across and need to modify and change and stuff. But definitely a large amount of influence pushed to that desert map. They do believe that 1.30 update is the one that it will drop on and align to the other map releases. So questions is price. How much do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be exactly like Sakal? The hot, dry, desert style map? Is it something that DayZ needs? How is the community going to bounce back? You know, we saw the PC community throw a lot of shade at it early. We were desperate for a snow map and have adapted to it. You know what our coders are like. We'll just change it. Yeah, definitely give us your thoughts. Give us what your opinions are. I think Mr. Q's having some temporary issues. No, he's good.
Nah, I'm just processing, and I don't know. So price-wise, I think definitely it's going to sit at the same price range as what Sakal did.
Yep.
They can't make it any more or any less, because otherwise then people are just going to shit on why Sakal's that price. The desert map thing. Now, I know that the PC community don't like Pakistan.
No.
That's a map that was just like, oh yeah, cool, boring shit.
Yep.
And I'm worried that same thing will happen with console. It's not like Sakal where it feels like an environment that we're used to with lots of trees, weather's harsh, you know. Going from that sort of every map style to something that's just wide open plains and hills of desert, I can't see it be doing too well.
No, and this is why I believe they've had them both in the works. And they pulled their best card out at the start, and now they're obviously coming back with the desert map. Ra reckons about $28 US, which I think is the price of what it was for Sakal. I actually reckon they're going to make this one cheaper. I think they've learnt the lesson about getting in. People bought early and got disappointed due to the fact that it wasn't complete. I think that they need to start at a base cost price, so maybe a 20. Get people interested in it, get the pricing going, get the money flow, you know, make it attractive for the coders and the players to actually buy it. And then once they add the updates into it, to slowly increase the price. So like you, like me, we get in early because we want to support BI, B, we want to get out there and, you know, test out the map and check out what it's like of our own accord. But it's not going to be for the game passes. So start it cheap. Start it, you know, as like a preview price. And then as you add to it, as you expand on it, then increase the price.
Yeah.
I think if they did that with...
They're gonna have to.
If they did that with Sakal and they just went, right, with preview price, I'm going to get to you for a tenner. I think they would have got more sales, maybe the same amount of gameplay, but people would buy it just to have it in the back pocket. And then later on, as things get, a bit better, as the game starts to improve and these new maps start to come a bit more popular, people will want to go and buy them. Especially if you get, servers that just take hold of the actual map and really blow it out of the water. I mean, a lot of the hardcore servers have taken Scowl and really worked with them enough to make it a real grind and a real, hassle to play, which is if you're a hardcore player, that's what you like. But yet, those servers like 10X and, those high pops haven't even touched it.
Well, on the other side of that too, if it is something like Pakistan, that is mainly a lot of open areas and space, that leaves a lot of area for coders to build on. And maybe they come in and they start dotting trees everywhere and create a map that's not just straight desert.
Well, that's the other thing. Like the nature mod came in and overgrew Chinaris and overgrew Livonia. There are coders out there who will change and modify the map to, make something different and make something new. So, with I suppose, a more planar atmosphere, does that give the ability for, those RP servers that go into the Middle Ages that, they have to rule out 90% of the map because it's all urbanized? Does that now give them the advantage of being able to do that sort of thing with the map? You could have the sand environment, but you could have cold. We could change the weather style. But yeah, that's it's.
I mean, you could even turn it to like, almost a 4-season map. So you could build nice snow areas in one part. You could have lush green forest areas in another. And then you could have the arid desert. All in one map.
100%. Like we can add snow in, we can add the greenery. We can't add the desert, but a 4 biome environment that's balanced with the weather, that'd be hectic. That'd be absolutely crazy. So, as much as we sit back and think, oh, desert, there's a lot of things that our community, not as much the PC world, but our community will take hold of and transform. We're so used to working with what we've got and dealing with the shit that we've got that, new assets will even bring in. Could you imagine, oil rigs out in the middle of the ocean on Chinaris because they've actually added in the oil wells and stuff like that to be able to do it, and not just people having to create one. I mean, they do some fantastic jobs when it comes to the oil rigs that they have now, but with Tuscan, are they going to bring out a whole new set of housing to try and match
Well,
that?
I hope so.
Yeah, that desert that desert arid style mud housing, which would be good because that'll.
Oh my God, they would have to. They would have to, because if they bring us a desert map, but put the same fucking houses that we have across all 3 fucking maps, oh my God, I will lose it. Because then you've just given us just the skin.
Yep. And if that's the case, give us the ability to strip the map out. Let us take all the buildings off, put our own in. Could you imagine that? You got the same bloody buildings in the map. Oh. It's like what? There's only one company that knows how to do 5 different styles of housing, 4 different styles of big buildings, and 3 industrial in the entire planet. Oh, absolutely crazy.
What scares the shit out of me is I think that could be a very, very viable possibility of what's going to happen.
Surely.
They'll just do... we might get 1 or 2 new buildings, but then they'll do what they did on Sakau, and they'll give us the old building just recolored.
Recolored or interior redone or. And they shouldn't. They shouldn't. They should sit there and invest in the new assets and. Yeah. But it will be, you are 100% right. It will be the same style of housing, the same style of run through.
Yeah.
Especially in the city.
Because it's so much work to create buildings. It really is. It's not as easy as just skin, texture, chuck it down, you know. That there's a lot of work that goes into creating a building. And I don't know if one, they've had the time, or two, the resources to produce that in such a short amount of time. Even 2 years is I reckon a real short amount of time considering the amount of devs I've had working.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. And that's what's going to kick them in the arse if that's the case. If they come out with the same buildings, the same assets, maybe one or two more different assets, then they're going to cop an ass kicking for it, because then they look like they're just carbon copying what they did to Sakau, put a bit of sand around the place and shipped it.
You see, if it is Takistan that they're porting over, then surely we'd get all of the assets from Takistan. Because you couldn't pull Takistan over and then put DayZ houses on it, say that, oh yeah, but this is still Takistan. Because it wouldn't be.
No. But remember, they won't ever class it as the same map. It'll be called something else.
Yeah, but then why lead it with, like we're talking about, with the intro music and that little clip being the same sort of music and stuff, you know? If you're going to drop those hints in there that are quite obvious like that, then turn around and call it something different, almost false advertising and producing hope in your players that is going to be let down.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Or the other way around, are they just using old assets as well as the old music? Do they just go, oh, we've already got a tune that sounds like, that deserty theme. Do we chuck it in? No one's not going to remember 15 years ago. The people that are playing this game have only ever been here for the last 15 years. No new people play it.
But then if that's the case, that's so fucking lazy, because you look at how easy it is to create music with AI now.
100%. I am the king of AI music now.
Yeah.
Yep. I am the king of AI music. The music industry's dead that way. And even still, even with Suno, you can apply for a commercial license and commercially use the music in your own projects. And it's like $200 a year, which is fuck all. So,
Could you imagine if they released the map? If they released the map assets, but they could do that because they released it as PC only, similar to what GTA 6 have turned around and said that when it first releases, it's going to be Xbox and PlayStation only.
yeah.
And they're like, hey, look, it's ready, but only for PC right now. You know, consoles, you'll get it in another 6 months to a year.
You'll have to warm yourself up for that one. You'll definitely have to warm yourself up for that one. That'll be right. We're going to start the show off with Q's news because you're going to be rambling for a while. Or Rakan says the best. Summer is definitely going to remake TAC, but better. At least I hope. Well, if they incorporate at least the sandstorm, and that's Sumrack's, he built that back in the day, that's going to be a new additive to DayZ, being blinded, whether it takes damage from the sandstorm, who knows, but at least it's going to be a visual effect. like when, a lot of players put the rendering distance, a lot of owners put the rendering distance down, you get that fog effect. Like, if you played One Life Extreme when he had his fog on, that was hard to play. Oh, look at that. Speak of the devil. You really had to understand and know the map from a 50-meter radius to be able to guide your way through. So, a blanketing sandstorm that comes in and blankets the map will be absolutely crazy. Yeah, Pete, you got timing like a badass, all right? Yeah, and hopefully, with that you missed the fog, but that's hopefully what the sandstorm event will be. Do you leave town to get lost in between towns because of that sandstorm? Is there going to be, tricks of the trade that go with that? A lot of desert people in sandstorms put a shroud over their heads and just leave a slit to be able to see. Will the eye patch, similar to the eye patch, things like that be bit crazy? Be absolutely nuts.
I could see it. I could see it being something similar to the snow when you got that full-on snowstorm, but it's sand, and how the snow gets you when it's mad snowstorming with the cold. Sandstorm comes in and it gets you with heat.
Ooh, so you got to be inside rather than outside.
Yeah, yeah.
And heat's a very funny mechanic in DayZ. It's not like it's the opposite of cold where, slow duration of cold will happen. People see that flashing or that red symbol or that flashing symbol and panic. Really panic. Whereas people can run around in a blue symbol and not really care. Or in freezing and not really care. Yeah, imagine sandstorms on a hot desert server. Be crazy. Be cool if the sand gets in your eyes and affects your vision.
Yeah. Can't see.
That's it. They panic when there's a ban. That's it. One Life Extreme Oven. Come get banned on the desert server. Or when there's a bear trap at face height. Wrote a song about that last night. It's how I deal with my trauma now. I write songs. And so you'll be hearing it eventually in the intros of my what do you call it? Yep, searching, hunting cabins and stepping on a bear trap. But what I am glad about is how much progress and how much push forward BI is going with the game itself. It is an older game. It's a good 7 years on console. It's 11 years on PC. The stuff they're bringing is, 15 years old. If you go and see Wobo's video about the update, you'll get a nice little run through of what it used to look like. I did take a lot of the information from that video. It's a big shout out to Wobo. He's a fucking legend. God, he dives into some stuff. Yeah, I'll be straight on the new map if it drops. One Life Hell. I think the heat side of DayZ isn't explored well enough, and this might be the opportunity, for everyone to get involved with, picking a season. Do you like a winter season? Do you like it hot? Do you like it the medium seasons? You're going to have a variety right across the board. The only problem is what happens after they do the 4th season? What happens then? Is this going to be the stop of the maps? Or will the progression of the sand map indicate to BI whether it's worth to drop enough maps out? Are there too many maps already for the player base?
Nah, no way. No way, there's not. Not when you consider everything that PC's had. I think that BI, from a standpoint of making money, see how much people love the new maps, because every time a new map drops, it explodes with popularity. I think they've seen that and they've gone, right, time for us to jump in on that and start making a bit of revenue. And I think that's what they're going to end up doing, is that's going to be their model until something new comes up, until DayZ 2 comes out, is they're just going to start repurposing old armor maps, flipping them over, push it out, make a bit of coin.
Which is not dumb. Which honestly is not dumb.
No, it's not.
You just
Smart.
got to get your
Smart.
pricing right and make sure that you know, you're adding into the maps and adding different stuff in. You know, just not just guns. I think if they're going to start expanding into, you know, the cold and the summer, where's the polar bears? You know what I mean? Or, you know, in a sand you may have snakes. Pete wants a jungle map. Imagine the extra dangers with venomous spiders and snakes. Yeah, we'll just call it DayZ Australia. But they could even expand right around the globe. You know, they're starting to, you know, Sakau was moved away from that base area of Chinaris and that major map. I mean, Tascan is part of that major map, but Sakau's not. So is it time that they start themselves adventuring around the world? Will we see, you know, an Asian map? Will we see an Australian map? Will we see, you know, will this be the African style map? Will there be, you know, that sort of run-throughs where they start to venture off into different areas of the world?
Or could they start filling in the whole map of the whole South Zagoria region? So instead of us just being one little area, two little areas, they start expanding into that whole map.
I'll see if I can get a pic of it. There it is there, I think. Yep. No, Google didn't like it. Said no. Give me something. I just want a big map. No, if I give me the maps, just show me the pictures. Bastards.
Yeah, but I could see that as a good thing to do to carry on, because the community as a whole would enjoy that, and it would make a lot of sense, because then you're incorporating that whole area. But then also going around the world would be not bad either, because then it would show that the zombie apocalypse doesn't just happen in one area, that it would start spreading throughout the world.
Yeah. It's not a very good one, but this is what we're talking about if you don't know what we're talking about. Oh, I just lost it. So that's technically that's where Cherno is now, and Livonia. This particular island, Utes, is what used to be part of Chinaris, but no longer. Tascan is over here, on this side of it. So, but none of this has been touched. I believe Livonia's somewhere in here, from what I remember.
Yep.
And then Sakau's 12 miles away in a different part of the world. So whether they go back to that particular stance and that particular run, or they go a different direction, like Ra says, do they fill out all 4 maps and then move it to improve, you know, building improvements? I don't think they'll ever change the the building style. I think they're pretty cemented down with their fort style log and post. Not
Yeah,
like
I don't think they're ever going to change.
no.
We're not going to get Rust building, or we're not going to get Build Plus Plus from PC. We're just going to, this is our building, let's get used to it. Which
Yeah,
I don't mind. They only had to do a few tweaks to it to make it okay. Change the rating system. I mean, if all they did was change the rating system, then I think it'll be fine.
correct. Go back to tool rating.
Yeah, definitely.
Tool rating was the hardest. Yes, it was easy enough to be able to jump on the coast, grab a half a dozen hammers and axes and stuff and race to someone's base, but don't build near the coast. Yeah.
Or just make it specific tool types. You know, bring in a raid hammer that you can only raid if you find that hammer.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Specifically, only the crowbar allows you to do it. Prying all off those planks and plying off all the logs. Or introduce the chainsaw. Put the chainsaw high tier. And that's the only way you can do it. It's loud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it takes time. You've got to grab other resources. You know, you need oil back, so you have to have oil for your chainsaw. You have to have gas for your chainsaw.
Yep.
So it's not just find a chainsaw.
No, it's actually a few steps to go through to be able to raid. Or C4. The ability to make an improvised explosive. I think that's the other way to go. Improvised explosives only.
Well, we have the C4.
Yeah.
Plastic explosive, you know, so...
I mean, it's already in the game. They're just going to make it so that's the only thing that damages walls. That way, you know, people actually have to create these bombs to be able to raid. Once again, making it harder to raid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, lots of things happening in the next two updates. One will come around Halloween and the next one will come later next year. Yeah, only certain tools are raid tools. That would be exactly the way we would love it.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a bit more of a team effort. I think it'll be a bit harder to raid. Yeah. And maybe a few additives. Add a few of the window gaps, like arrow slits. I think those sorts of things will be... Although people build them anyway, so... The people who really dive into those massive builds have all the little corners neatly done and tucked in, so... But yes, let's see what happens over the next couple of updates. 1.28, 1.29, and 1.30. Super looking forward to it. Absolutely wicked rundown. Big shout out to Mr. Wobo for... You know, getting out there and really putting in the nitty-gritty that sometimes we can't do. And finding out all the goods. But that's all we have for our topic. Do you have any business, Mr. Q?
Well, not so much business, just more of a convo. So I was searching through the internet the other day. I was going through the BI website. I can't remember what I was doing it for. I was looking for something.
Looking for hate.
And but well, sometimes I just need to see those words Bohemia Interactive and you start getting angry, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I found there's apply for a job, and they have a listing of the jobs that they have and are looking for people to fill at the moment.
Ooh.
And one of those are AI development. I'm picking AI as in what we like Zeds and like AI bad guys and stuff, and it made me think back to the little snippet that we got of Pakistan and the zombie crawling around running, and I was like, well, are they going to try and bring in the new AI changes at Pakistan, or is that going to be when they start bringing it in because they're trying to find more AI leads?
Ooh. I think the incorporation, when you see Armory Forger and see the incorporation of their AI compared to the dumbass infected that's in DayZ, I reckon they'll have to heavily incorporate an AI system. But whether they need it for infected are really just sight, attack, move on. There's no strategy to them. Whereas, Armory Forger, they'll snipe you for 500 meters. It's crazy. And headshot you too. I don't know how much of an AI run that... I mean, AI infected that could actually pursue and hunt. Yeah, keen for that. That no longer can I just auto sprint and run my way out of it. I find infected are quite stupid. AI would probably put the infected back, 2 or 3 updates where I had my little biff with Mr. Running Man about infected and gear and how sensitive they were to sound. I think that was the pinnacle of DayZ infected. You couldn't really, unless you were super quiet, walk in, quiet shoes, and waiting for them to move, then you would get pinched on the other side of a building. I think that's how the infected should be.
They should, and I take a feeling of how the infected should be from playing the zone. Actually, made me really look at it. Oh my god, the infected should be like this. They should be freaking scary. It's insane the way the zone is now. Like the amount of Zeds that are out there, and the minute you aggro 1 or 2, there's fucking thousands of them.
That's
come
it.
Out of nowhere.
It's over. It's over, which is what it should be
Yeah.
like in a zombie apocalypse or a virus apocalypse. It should be this ever-growing hunger of infected that haven't seen a player, haven't seen a meal in 2 or 3 days. These are not well-fed things, and just like we would be for a cold beer if we haven't had one all week. Just run into it and throwing it down. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I would have feelings like that again. Similar to like when we were playing One Life last night, and it only took 3 infected in the dark, and almost took me out. Took me down to flashing. Now I don't usually get that from infected. Infected are usually pretty easy to deal with in the base game. Now, they shouldn't be. You should be scared of them.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's turned to the point of too PvP heavy, where people have complained about the infected so much that they've become more of an annoyance to the game than to the base of the game.
Correct. It's not you versus the infected. It's you versus other players. Watch out. There may be also a distraction from the infected. Nah, 100%
Which
agree
is
with
not
you.
how the game should be.
No, that's right. You should be... Do I shoot this player and attract a town's worth of infected to me? Is that worth it?
Yeah.
I think that really needs to be the way it plays out. And that may be only because I'm a survival, same as Q. He likes the survival side of DayZ. And you have seen a lot of the population. You have seen since Armory Forger has excelled in a conquest battle style, especially with the helicopters and the vehicles and all that stuff, how much of the DayZ population that could only get that on DayZ has now moved to Armory Forger. So I think DayZ really need to tighten their belt and say, hey, we're going to establish ourselves as, that apocalyptic survival style horror game rather than what it is now, which is survival PUBG.
Yeah.
And then
as I say,
I think they'll
a lot
have a
of
good
that's just
formula.
down to the made. Yeah. Stop pandering to your players and make the game what you want it to be. Because that's how the game was the best that it was when the devs made the game how they thought it should be and not turn around and pander to the community and what's going to attract more people to the game.
That's it. Or keeping the streamers happy. Because you do see them knee jerk
Yeah.
to streamer influence.
Yeah. Well, we all know how much they like to bloody kiss the feet of some streamers.
Yes, there are some friendship ties, but yeah, they really need to dive into their community and understand where their game's going. BI's got their army games up and running now. They don't need to have DayZ supported, so they really need to that virus apocalyptic fight for your life, struggle at every moment feel that we got when we first started on preview. That's where I reckon we bring it back to. But yeah,
Hashtag make zombies great again.
that's it. Make zombies dominant. but but with that AI, that may bring in things like breaking down doors, climbing onto cars. That's what that AI models are going to bring in. The ability for the infected to be able to think, scale buildings. That's what I'd like to see.
Oh, standing up in an apartment and all of a sudden there's a zombie just clawing up the side of the wall.
100% up the balconies, just leaping up, boink 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 up the balcony. You don't know, you're just hanging off the edge, and then all of a sudden he's right there, or he comes in from behind. You know, you're no longer protected on top of a building, on top of a car. They've got that ability to be able to hunt you down. The drive for the thirst of pure blood is what I'd like to see the infected. As you say, from the zone, if you want to know what we're talking about, go check out the zone on Xbox. Load in, grab a gun, and fire. That's all I'll say. That's the
I tell you
epitome
what,
of how DayZ infected should be.
you don't even need to do that now. You just need to walk.
Just yes, stir a couple up, do the runner, and you will see the. But if you're fully armed, especially in that in that particular world where they where you can no longer clear a town, they're consistently spawning. So having that ever-present fear of I've got to get in and out as fast as I can, rather than hanging around in town and blah blah blah. I think those sorts of things are missing.
I was watching this guy on TikTok the other day, and what he was trying to do was calculate the population in Chinaris by going through and counting every single house and how many beds would be in those houses. And he went through and he calculated it all, and it was like, I can't remember the numbers, but it was saying like 60,000 or something like that.
Yeah,
And then
63,000
he's
beds.
like, right, now, how many relative zombies would be there compared to how many people lived in those areas? Yeah, and it found that a lot of the areas where there should be over 100 zombies, sometimes you'll only have, 100 maybe maximum.
Yeah, that particular video,
it makes no sense.
like Chinaris population compared to infected was like 6.3% was what were infected, whereas the there should be where there was, as you say, 100, there should be 1,000 people there. The villages were probably the most populated due to beds in the actual town. I watched that one too. That was very, very interesting.
That was. I thought that was a really, really good video.
Yeah, I was frothing on that. Just how lesser people actually left in Chinaris compared to the occupational of what it used to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Well, all we could do is look forward. If you hear anything or see anything on the Tuscan map, anything new on the update, definitely drop it in my Discord. If not, DM it to me. We'll get it on the podcast and get it out there. We're going to try and keep as much update on this. Big shout out to BI. Just a heads up, I've already got my passport organised. So whenever you want to do a DayZ Unite, just give us a buzz. I'm happy to take time off work and froth over in Prague. Whether they go like that again is better. That's it. We'll be after you. I think it was a bit more of a PR disaster.
Yeah, it kind of backfired.
Yeah, kind of backfired. I mean, they did bring always streams out to represent the console. Maybe they'll do something this time, maybe not. Fingers crossed they don't go down the same line as they did with Cow and do. We'll give it to the streamers and everyone for 2 weeks prior and bullshit like that. They just go, it's ready, we're going to drop it, and everyone can play at the same time. Fingers crossed. Whether it would go to experimental too is the other thing, because it usually does go across to experimental, but we'll only find out. But yeah, that's all I have for the show, unless Mr. Q's got anything. I think he's frozen again.
No.
No. Damn it, I thought he was frozen. Yep, so apart from that, we're going to get out of here. I'd like to thank you all for joining us. He hasn't got his gun out.
Oh, God.
Oh, pepper him. Fuck. You can't shoot for shit with a VSD. That's the best part about it. Hip fire's terrible today. Oh, got one into him. Better reload. Yeah, you got fucking done over hard. But apart from that, we appreciate you all for joining us for the podcast.